Lois Maxwell came up with the idea of her being the new M. And I don't know if that was actually, that would have been interesting, but I don't know if that's 100% true or not.
She does have an M name in Moneypenny, but to my knowledge in the books, she's never anything more than just a secretary, so it would make no sense if she took over military intelligence without having any kind of military background. So that would really only work if she, as an actress, took over a new role entirely, but that would just confuse people because they'd be like, wait, wasn't she Moneypenny before? But there's also another reason why that would never work, which is that Bond and Moneypenny always had that sexual tension. We talked last time about how there was a bit of a switcheroo done between Q and M, right? So when Bernard Lee, who played M up until he was missing in For Your Eyes Only, he was very much a father figure to Bond, which is straight up out of the books. And then he was replaced by a new actor, and for 2 movies, Octopussy and A View to a Kill, he more or less was that same M. And then as we talked about in the last episode, when Timothy Dalton came on the scene, suddenly him and M were always at odds, and M was less of a father figure and more of a Saunders.
This is highly irregular. I won't be able to get the okay from London for a day at least.
Wait, Saunders.
By the book, pain in the ass. I don't care about your instincts. I want you to follow orders type of M. He felt like a different M entirely, as if the old M had passed for real and was replaced by a new M, much like what we're seeing now. And at the same time, Bond's antagonistic nature with Q switched simultaneously. So what's interesting now is that they have more or less continued that. So that MQ reversal has continued to where Pierce Brosnan's Bond is still just as buddy-buddy with Q. You know, he'll say,
"Oh, grow up, 007.
But they still laugh together. They still kind of enjoy each other's company.
Don't say it. The writing's on the wall, along with the rest of it.
Anyway, so my point being that because of this switch, now we have another new M, and she kind of does both. Their scene together is so beautifully written, where she comes at him hot with,
"You don't like me, Bond. You don't like my methods. You think I'm an accountant. A bean counter, more interested in my numbers than your instincts."
The thought had occurred to me.
Good. Because I think you're a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. A relic of the Cold War.
Point taken.
Not quite, 007.
UM, new M, who is a lady, and I like to bang ladies, and so I don't respect them as much, or so she thinks.
If you think for one moment I don't have the balls to send a man out to die, your instincts are dead wrong.
Even Tanner is giving her shit because she's now, you know, she'll always talk about the analysts.
He sees himself as the next Iron Man of Russia, which is why our political analysts rule him out. He doesn't fit the profile of a traitor.
Are these the same analysts who said the GoldenEye couldn't exist? Who said the helicopter posed no immediate threat and wasn't worth following?
We found a match. Your missing tiger.
In the middle of northern Russia.
Seems your hunch was right, 007. It's too bad the evil queen of numbers wouldn't let you play it.
You were saying?
It's pretty obvious to me that someone like Ormov is a piece of shit. It's pretty obvious to me that the Tiger helicopter is something that we need to look into a little deeper. Bond is all about instinct, and then you have this new M who's got these analysts and everything, and Bond keeps thinking, your analysts don't know shit.
It was instinct.
I'll recall 008 from Hong Kong. He can do it. He doesn't know Pushkin. He follows orders, not instincts.
7i might be the ground station for a secret space-based weapons program called GoldenEye, but...
Our statistical analysis saw they had neither the finance nor technology to implement it.
Numbers were never my strong suit.
I have so much experience. I have 16 movies worth of experience, and you're not listening to what I have to say. You care about what these people who sit at a desk all day have to say.
One thing I would want to add is that something that they really bring up when they started Living Daylights is the idea of Bond being this misogynist character of going around sleeping with all these women. At the time felt like an outdated premise, or the fact that, you know, things were changing in the political world, the political climate. And so, or I should say more like the social climate. So the idea that he, he just sleeps with all these women had kind of changed. And you really do see that in Living Daylights and in License to Kill. He's kind of really with one woman. This movie kind of reverts back to the old Bond because the him being a woman thing doesn't really work as well as it does in this movie because they revert back to Bond just sleeping with whoever he wants to sleep with kind of thing, or being the charmer. Especially in the beginning of the movie when the person he's with is like not an analyst, but
evaluator.
like a psych evaluator, and he sleeps with the psych evaluator.
As you can see, I have no problem with female authority.
James, you're incorrigible. What am I going to do with you?
And she comments on him doing that.
Whose boyish charms, though wasted on me, obviously appeal to that young woman I sent out to evaluate you.
So, like, the fact that they kind of revert back to him being a misogynist or being this just dude who just, sleeps with women as it, willy-nilly. It's just, that's kind of a testament why I like this movie so much.
Anybody who has a problem with Bond banging chicks is kind of obnoxious to me. And it's not just because I want to, oh yeah, Bond, get it in. It's because when you have spies, right, their whole job is to go somewhere and collect information.
Yeah.
And their means of doing so are, in the case of someone like James Bond, is to weaponize his looks and his confidence and his competency and all that. But more than
Kinda
anything,
like vampires.
he happens to be an attractive dude. And he happens to have all these qualities, again, the whole race car driver thing, that women want. And so if he's put in a position where, again, it's what are the stakes? The livelihood of England, of his motherland, right? So what he has to do to pump someone for information is have sex with them.
Pump her for information.
He's got to do, he has to make that sacrifice, as he said in A View to a Kill.
Should certainly bear closer inspection.
We're on a mission.
Sir Godfrey, on a mission, I am expected to sacrifice myself.
These people, these spies, male and female alike, are selected and trained to use every tool at their disposal to get information, including their
Xena
sex.
does the same thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a good point. Xena does the same thing in this story.
You've been yet.
Oh my God, he's having sex with all these women. Yeah, because it's for the sake of his country. If you can exploit any weakness, do it. Put short, all's fair in love and war. So you have this guy who is drop dead gorgeous, and he's everything women want. And,
so hot.
And there's the reality of pillow talk and loose lips sink ships, and you take advantage of that. I mean, go watch the movie Red Sparrow. It's such an underrated movie, but Red Sparrow is all about these Russian agents being trained specifically to go somewhere and bang every man and woman alike, bang everybody to get information to bring back to Russia so that they can weaponize it. And then you have people in the audience who are like, that's wrong because it's sexist. He's saving the world, motherfucker, so back off.
Yeah.
I do feel like in the last two films, they've covered that dynamic more than normal. Going back to the last one, License to Kill, even Q is like comforting the girl, like, oh, well, don't give him too much.
Don't judge him too harshly, my dear. Field operatives must often use every means at their disposal to achieve their objectives.
All field agents are told
Well,
to
I know,
use
she rolls her eyes at
means
that idea.
necessary to gain
She's like,
knowledge.
I'm sure that's the reason why.
Bullshit!
What I was getting at, though, with the whole M thing, is that now that M is a female, had it been Moneypenny, it would have been a bit odd, right? It would have been cute, but there was always so much sexual tension there between her and 007 that to suddenly have Moneypenny in charge, they make a point of Judy Dench's M saying, your boyish charms won't work on me. And thank God, because look at his scene with Moneypenny. It's so hot. It's just so
in this movie?
In this movie, it's just
where
great.
she's like, I think that would be sexual harassment or whatever.
And it's great.
This sort of behavior could qualify as sexual harassment.
Really? What's the penalty for that?
Someday you have to make good on your innuendos.
Maybe I'm the only one, but I don't at all ever interpret that scene as Moneypenny legitimately threatening to report him to HR or something. She's got genuine desire up in them eyes.
And I don't sit at home every night praying for some international incident so I can run down here all dressed up to impress James Bond. I was on a date, if you must know, with a gentleman. We went to the theatre together.
Moneypenny, I'm devastated.
She's straight up playing hard to get. I mean, she just told him that she was on a date, and James is like, oh, I might be a little jealous. And she's basically like, I'm still holding out that someday this is going to happen. You know, she does it in like a hard to get, tough way, but this ain't hashtag me too. This is hashtag do me too, please.
Someday you have to make good on your innuendos.
M is this older person, whether male or female, and because M now is female and Bond is somebody who generally is trying to use his charm to get what he wants out of women, they needed to make her more motherly, right?
Well,
Just
yeah.
like M used to be a father figure. And they did that successfully, and they do it beautifully by this very simple scene where she just calls him out on all of that, including having sex with his evaluator just to pass a test, which again is his job. His job is to do just that. And then when he uses it on his own people, M would have to respect that. But that being said, Spycraft is a zero-sum game. Use whatever means necessary to get your way. And they needed to not let that work with M. So they hire Judy Dench, who hits him head on with My Way or the Highway and all that. And then at the last second, they kind of pull the rug on that. And she says,
Bond, come back alive.
so she immediately assumes that motherly role in the same way that Bernard Lee used to have that fatherly role. And it's just perfect.
If I found him first, sir, that might change the situation.
Dramatically, wouldn't you say? Good day, Bond.